Welcome, my name is Lance Amato, and the purpose of this series is to shed light on emerging trends and sustainable practices that align with a growing need for solutions in the architectural and design space. In each chapter, I will open the door of discovery to our community and provide references to learn more, which they can apply to their daily practice. Okay, everyone, I'm super excited about this week. We're going to talk about EPDs and what they mean. I brought an expert along the matter, Josh Jacobs, to talk all about this. It was a great conversation, so I decided to break this into two different segments, which I'll release 1 week after the next.
My name is Josh Jacobs. I'm Sustainability Director for WAP Sustainability. I'm a translator. That's the best way I can explain what I am. I do lots of different things like most small companies do. We're about 50 people now. But essentially, I work with architects, designers, specifiers, procurement teams, government officials, large purchasers, to help them understand what sustainability is and what is going on in the marketplace and what they can implement. And then what I do is I help translate that to manufacturers so that they understand what needs to be met in the world. I'm hopefully never the smartest person sitting in a room. I always want to be around other incredibly smart people, and I take what they say and I make it dumb for myself, to be fair, Lance. And I try, and if I can understand it in a certain way, then I can translate it to the mass population. Because a lot of what we deal with in life cycle assessment or greenhouse gas accounting gets really, really complicated. When you're trying to save the planet, man, it's not the easiest of tasks. So unfortunately, we've got to take a lot of that smart stuff and bring it down a level. LCA sounds fairly simple, right? It's 3 little letters, right? And like everything in sustainability, we love our acronyms. So it's life cycle assessment or life cycle analysis. This is the basis of what goes into an environmental product declaration, EPD, another acronym, not shocking. And to get to the EPD from your LCA, you need something called a PCR, a product category rules. Lance, I told you there's lots and lots of acronyms, man. We've just got tons of them, and we'll make more up just on this call together. But it sounds easy because we make these small little acronyms and these short little words. It's incredibly difficult getting this amount of data and this amount of information out of our systems. Like we've seen during COVID and during some of the supply chain issues, our supply chains are incredibly complicated. Like web is not the most appropriate term. It has got to be like the multiverse, right? Like this is Spider-Man, man. It's everywhere. Our supply chains are incredibly complicated. So understanding what happens in our factory systems, that can be done fairly quickly, right? Most organizations have a handle on their factories if they own and operate the factories. But a lot of our owners of products now and sellers actually have, partner organizations, partner factories. So we need to get data out of them. And then we need to understand the supply chain side, right? So when you are asking for EPDs or life cycle impact data, please don't think it's a snap of a finger. It's not. This can be a really complicated process for manufacturers that have been working in a very specific area for a long, long time. And those manufacturers that have gone forward and moved down the path of getting EPDs and life cycle assessment data, they need to be applauded, right? Because it is a massive lift to be able to get all that data out, model it around. We certainly feel we do a pretty good job here at WAP in terms of modeling and we're the largest LCA provider here in North America. So we're very proud of that. But the manufacturers, we still have to get that data out of the system. So it can be really tough.
So my next question to Josh was, if you're a manufacturer, what do you need to prepare for to develop EPDs?
So we have a lot of manufacturers that come to us and they say, hey, someone told me that I need an EPD or I need an LCA to even bid on this project, and they need it in a month. That's not going to happen. These things don't happen overnight because, again, we're trying to get as much out of the system as possible and understanding your own factory systems. Hopefully you have some of that data, the kilowatt hours, right, that you over the last year. So energy bills, how much water have you used? What's your waste like, right? How many total units out of your factory? This is data you should have access to. Although, believe it or not, each manufacturer kind of holds it in a different area. Sometimes it's in operations, sometimes it's with accounting, sometimes it's with marketing, sometimes it's with the sustainability person or the C-suite or the owner, right? So where it lives can be sometimes difficult to find. And then that can be quick sometimes, right? And I say quick in the business terms, things run in, people have vacations, kids have graduations, dentist appointments, Thanksgiving comes up. But then getting stuff out of your supply chain and understanding where things come from, because typically, most of the time, people are buying from another organization, that B2B connection. So you can say, hey, we bought this fabric from Lance's fabric shop. But what if Lance's fabric shop actually is just a wholesale house that they're buying from 6 or 7 different suppliers beyond themselves? Now that one supplier is actually a multitude of suppliers that we need to start to understand. So understanding your supply chain, right, and really getting beyond that first, hey, yeah, what's it cost? And really digging into the, your tier one and understanding, hey, do you actually make what I'm buying from you, or are you sourcing it from someone else, and understanding that? Most are starting to get there. And then obviously your factory systems, those two things. It's not going to happen overnight. These things can take anywhere from 3 months to 8 months to get fully through. I have seen some take longer than that, just because of, again, the willingness and ability to get data out of your systems.
We moved on to LCAs and studies of materials. Just from research, I know that the exterior base building and interior architecture studies are vastly further along than that of the interior fixture furnishings community.
So Lance, what you're talking about is where building products are versus interior fixtures and fit outs, right? So yes, the steel market, the concrete market, things of that nature have moved very quickly thanks to things like the LEED rating system, right? The LEED rating system in version 4 came out a long time ago, had an EPD credit. Myself and one of my partners were actually involved in that development of that program. So we've been working with that for a while. And those envelope type structural materials have been working down this path for a while. To be fair, it's because they have a very high environmental impact, right? Just by their nature. To be able to be constructed and stand for as long as they do, and withstand what they have to, and be resilient and be sustainable, they have a large carbon footprint. They're lowering that. They're doing some great stuff to actually lower that, specifically here in North America, but around the world. They're getting better and better. Now, what most people think is, oh, well, they get all the attention, and especially now with the Inflation Reduction Act, what's happening in certain states that are setting global warming potential, GWP, told you there would be more acronyms, GWP maximums for some of these structural products, that interior fixtures and fit outs have been forgotten. But believe it or not, one of the first product category rules created here in North America was from Business and Institutional Furniture Manufacturers Association, BIFMA. They actually created PCRs for seating. They've created PCRs for lots of things. We have EPDs for all types of flooring, for gypsum board, for paints, for all different sorts of things inside of our areas. Again, carpeting, hardwood, resilient tile, everything that goes on our walls. Heck, we have blinds now, right? The shade curtains that have EPDs. So there's lots and lots of material out there. If you just ask for it, it is out there in the marketplace.
So, what about designers? Knowing all that you know now about manufacturing and the process, as a designer, what do you need to know about EPDs?
So the first step as a designer is just ask, right? Just ask for. So I'll go down that path, right? So if you're an interior designer or you're an architect and you're looking for those fixtures and fit outs, the first thing you do when you want this environmental impact data is just ask, right? Don't make it mandatory on the first spec you put out and say, look, you need this or you're just done. That's going to limit your resources. But start to normalize it to your supply chain that you spec all the time, and say, hey, folks, in a year, I'm going to start requiring EPDs. But for right now, I might give preference to stuff that have environmental product declarations, because I want to start to understand my impact and what I'm designing, right? But don't make it hard and fast right away. Normalize it in your industry. Normalize it to your people. you'd be shocked, man. We're currently doing a lot of work right now. There's a very large tech firm that everyone would know that has put EPDs in their specs and said, look, we're building a data center and like, we're going to finalize it and open it in 18 months. We need your EPD by then. And the amount of companies that are like, okay, we can do that. You've given me 18 months. I can do that to meet this bid. Just asking, and these companies are willing to go forward as long as you don't put these unreal expectations of, I need it in 30 days. That's just not going to happen. Because while it's difficult, it is doable. Hopefully with the right partners. Obviously, I'm a bit biased, but it is very doable for lots of manufacturers. So normalize it with them, give them deadlines that are further out and say, look, I might give preferential treatment now if you have one, give it to me. But in a year, I'm going to start kind of requiring these on my specifications.
I hope you enjoyed part 1 of this series. The next chapter goes into very, very specific detail about the EPD form, including each one of its categories and sections. I encourage you guys to take a look at it next week. This video is proudly sponsored by Canoa, an innovative AI-powered collaborative platform designed for our community. With Canoa, you can create and share data-rich mood boards, layouts, and product schedules with your team. Our unwavering mission is to empower individuals to craft superior spaces. To explore the possibilities, sign up for your complimentary account by the link provided.